Casper, I'm sitting already with my polo on, and why am I doing that? Because it's warm outside, and normally people think that it's nice. It's nice that it's warm outside, but it has also some big side effects and some big consequences, and that is the water issue that we are confronted with in the south of Europe. Today, this morning, you sent us a really interesting article from the Dutch Financial Times, to say it like that, and they were also mentioning the problem here in Italy. Also, the Garda Lake has really low levels of water. And if you look in south of Europe, there's a website here. It's called pantanos.net, and it's lakes.net actually. And it gives you an idea. Normally around this time of the year, the capacity of the lakes, of the basins, thank you very much, is about 60%. And at the moment we're at 24%, and the summer has to still start. So bear in mind, this is a big problem, but Spain is doing what it can, and today we want to talk about that and also how you can invest in it. No?
Yes. And if I may go one step back,
of course, yeah.
If you look at the world, then 2.5 billion people, so that's almost 1/3, because there are around 7.5, 8 billion people on this ball. 2.5 billion people are facing water problems, water stress on a monthly basis. So water is, I think everybody knows, but I want to highlight, it's not a South European problem, it's a world problem.
Yeah, okay.
And
it's highlighted now because apparently we are
I want to, you make it big, I may make it even bigger. And the problem is mainly drinking water.
Yeah.
Drinking water. And if you look,
that's even worse. Come on, the fact that we might not irrigate our garden is completely irrelevant. If you look at poor people in Africa that don't even have.
That's what you think. That's what I think. But there are a lot of people around here that think in another way.
Yeah.
And if you look at all the water in the world, 97.5% is salted water.
Yeah, it's the water in the sea.
Yeah. But there's also the solution.
Exactly, yeah, and that's why I want to take it back to Spain, because that's obviously where we are. Spain has in total 765 desalting facilities, and
I when you told me that, I thought, wow, that's a lot, because 750 is 750. I thought I never had expected that many machines, and I was
Spain
really
is
positive.
A big country, eh?
Yeah,
it's a big country, and
a lot of sea.
Well, a lot of sea, yeah. No, so the first, actually, they started doing this in 1960s already in Lanzarote in the Canary Islands, and there's also where the majority of the desalting machines are, because they're completely relying on that source of water, because there's a hydronic stress. They don't have the groundwater is not very good traceable, and there's not a lot of rain there, so they completely rely on this system. If you look in other areas of Spain, Torrevieja, the area around Alicante, Almeria, they have facilities for two, but it's not for a lot of people. It's about for 140,000 people that they can give water. Here in Malaga, the biggest facility is in Atabal. It's a very big basin, very big lake. And they're at full capacity at the moment because, of course, there is a need for that. So the problem is big. But if you look at the total capacity of Spain, and it's interesting to know that they're the fourth country in the world. The first one is Saudi Arabia. Then you go to the United States, and you have the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. Thank you. And then you got Spain. And how much can they produce if they put all the machines on fully? It's 5 million cubical meters of water on a daily basis.
How many people can drink from that?
Yeah, that's interesting. So on average, in Spain, people are using 132 liters a day. But they calculated with a little bit more, 150 liters per person per day. So that comes down to 34 million people can have water from this source. So
that's amazing.
That's really good. So the majority of the problem is solved here.
Because you have around 50 million people.
50 million people. The lakes are still at a quite high capacity. So what is important to know about these figures is not that people what they drink or what they shower with. This is everything. So it's also the food chain. Because if you buy,
but I think there are amazing figures.
It's and they're really scaling it up as well. So it's not like this is something that is come to a standstill. They're really pushing this much further. So, and then I think you're going to give us an insight now in companies that, because that's important. I had this discussion with a client of us a couple of weeks ago. He said, Martin, I really want to invest in these water companies, and the companies that you're going to present they do this partly. They have activity, also in infrastructure, etc. And it's not very easy because once they deliver the machines, but then the machines are mainly delivered to, in this case, the Ministry of Environmental Care. So it's government owned.
Yeah.
So you cannot invest, as far as I understand, in a plant. So you can invest in the company that produces
and the
those
supplier.
plants.
Yeah,
It's the same as you could buy, and there's maybe another nice example, but in Rheinmetall, which makes steel and for the tanks in Ukraine, you cannot invest in the military defense. So in the Ministry of Defense of a specific country.
Oh, that's good.
But give us some insight, Casper, on these companies.
Yeah. Also, okay. I think most people know that the process is called desalination process, and you have two ways. One of them is you boil the water, and then you have water without salt, and you have salt, and you have also a process, and that's going to reverse osmosis. First of all, this subsector, because think you can call it a subsector of water or the water industry, that's growing with double figures on a yearly basis because the problems that are in the world and the solutions there. So it's always nice to invest in a sector that's growing. Then you can be the chance that you're going to be successful is bigger. So you have two ways of doing that. There are some advantages because you can provide a lot of fresh water. And also on places that if you look at the world map, that is close to the sea, and that fortunately there are a lot of places close to the sea. Unfortunately, if you go to the inland of Africa, of course, it's really difficult to do it because you can do it locally. Yeah. On the positive side, most cities are built around the sea, so a lot of people are living close to the sea. So that's a positive thing, I think. You can also, I think the world is seeing it. If you like Spain, I think Spain is a really good example. The last 2 weeks we spoke a little bit about where Spain is lacking it in the production, in the productivity of the country. This is not productivity, but this is solving another problem, and I think they're doing very well with this. And also like wind energy, they invested a lot of wind energy. So I think that is really going well. But if the water problem. Everybody thinks that the water problem will become a bigger problem in the future. So this is going to be a sustainable solution for the future. I think that's a positive side.
Absolutely.
And I think it's not. We talked about drinking water, water that you need for the plants and to shower, but also the whole food chain needs a lot of water. You mentioned it very shortly, just. A little bit, but
so 25-30% of the water that's being desalinated is for irrigation.
So you have a big impact on the food supply chain, I think,
and the productivity, because if that comes to a standstill, that has very big economical consequences.
Yes. On the negative side, the processes that generate waste. You have to do something with it. It's also for boiling the water. You know how many degrees it needs. You need energy for that. It's also a negative side, and I think it's also that I read that you eliminate a lot of nutrients that is in drinking water that people want to have in drinking water. I think it's a less negative effect than a positive effect that people have drinking water. But it's a negative effect.
Of course.
And what you said, a lot of companies that produce those plants, they invest in water in general, or even more broader, that also kind of other infrastructure things. So we selected 3 companies, and we don't say you must buy them or not, but we want to highlight some ideas, and then we close off with a basket, how you can also invest in it. Sure. And the first one is Veolia. Veolia, it's France. From origin, so it's a big company, around 20 billion market capital, and that company that provides drinking water on a daily basis to 100 million people. So if you invest in that company, you do something.
That's serious. That's really serious.
And they have around 2,300 water projects in the world in 100 different countries. So it's a France company, but it's a worldwide player. If you look at the figures, they grow steadily in revenues and in profit. The price is around 27 euros, and the profit per share is 1.84 expected for this year. So around 17 times you pay for the yearly profit. And that's what you also see for the other companies. So I think within this subsector, you see similarity in fundamentals definitely from the companies. I think an interesting company. The second one, and on the other side, if you look at the chart of the last year, now it's trading at the highest moment. But on the other hand, it's not strange with the problems that we are facing in Europe and the rest of the world.
For machines.
They have an American company, it's Consolidated Water. And they use mostly the reverse osmosis technology. They are more in the area of the Bahamas, more also focusing on the islands. Also same figures. The growth figures are expected to a little bit bigger, so the revenues and the profit figures. But if you break that down to the profit per share, it's also around 17 times the profit, and it's also high, but not on the highest level. So interesting company. And then the last one, to close the circle.
Acciona, no?
Spanish company.
We spoke about it, I think, last week as well, no?
Yeah,
we talked about
9.4 billions around, and they produce water for around 25 million people on a daily basis. The figures are a little bit less interesting because they expect this year, 2023, less revenues, but a little bit more profit. And also it's around with expected 9.6 euros profit per share with a price on the market for 170. It's also 17 times the profit.
Also,
so,
exactly,
that's really funny. I think because of the fact that the revenues this year is expected will be lower. If you look at the chart, it's trading on a low level. Absolutely. Lowest level almost in the last year. So do your homework, and they do more than only.
Yeah, I think the main reason is because they do a lot more.
Yeah, they do a lot more.
And they have headwind in those sectors, and water might be a very small part of their turnover.
Yeah, especially if you relate it to Consolidated Water. And the last one, Dow Chemical, is also a company that does a lot more, but they're facing headwinds. But so be careful with that company. So I'm not going to deep dive in that company. So to repeat it, I think Veolia, that's is French, Consolidated Water, American, and Acciona, Spanish. Then you have a little basket, but you can also invest in a big basket.
If you want even more of those players, you can also opt for the iShares Global Water, or also with the ticker code the HTO. And if you look at the performance of that ETF over the past 5 years, so on back to 27th of April 2017, it has an annual return of 6.6%, so a total of almost 50%. And what players are in there? American Waterworks, you have Exilem, you have Geberit from Switzerland, you have Veolia on place number 10 approximately, and also Dutch companies. Aalbeurs is in there, so a lot of American companies.
It's a little bit broader.
It's very broad. Yeah, they have a lot of players, and very globally focused. So it could be interesting if you want to have a specific exposure to this sector.
Yeah, so I think big problems in Europe.
We want rain, yeah.
Good to hear about the solution that Spain, with their machines, can provide drinking water to 34 million out of the 50 million people in Spain. So that's really good news. And if you believe in this sector and you want to invest to let this sector grow more, then you know a little bit where you can find those companies.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Give us your thumb. See you next week.